Maybe. We're live.
TC Backer, TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. TC Backer, TC Backer.
Is your lead flow down? Whether you're a company owner, office staff, salesperson, or installer, you're a roofing rock star. We help you get more leads with custom SEO, Google Ads, and a pro website.
Welcome to Behind the ToolBelt, where the stories are bold, the conversations are real, and the insights come to you live, raw, and uncut. Every week, host Ty Cobb Backer sits down to bring you the stories, the struggles, the lessons learned, and the wins. No filters, no scripts, just the truth. Please welcome your host of Behind the ToolBelt, Ty Cobb Backer.
We're back.
PA Belly Supply, yeah.
Are you? Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. I wonder what we're going to talk about. I'm surprised you didn't ask me that question, but you know how we roll.
Yes.
And my response to that would be whatever you want to talk about.
Let it fly.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going on the fly.
Yep.
So in the past 30 minutes, has there been anything, something that's gone through your mind? Curiosity, like, man, I'd really like to ask Ty this question, you know, while we're live and the world is listening to us, or maybe a topic that, man, I'd really like to talk about with Ty, or shit, there's something that Brian Good, myself, wants the world to know either about TC Backer or Brian Good himself or whatever. What went through your mind in the past 32 minutes?
I kind of what you discussed earlier today with the job in Georgia has been heavy on my mind, and then we spoke briefly about it. And We talked once before. You recommended that book by Jocko Williams. What is that? The Extreme Leadership. Is that the name of the book?
Say it one more time.
Extreme Leadership.
Yes. Extreme ownership.
Extreme Ownership.
Yeah.
And I know I told you this once, but that's been a book that's been recommended since I started.
No doubt.
And it's not that I necessarily didn't give it the time of day. I didn't think it was important for me.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd get much out of it. And I'm glad that was my perception of it then, because it means so much more now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost done. I've got like 2 chapters left, and then I bought them all. So I'll do them all in succession. And I think maybe before I go to the next one, I'll reread it.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that I missed. I didn't fully get to absorb. But it was very humbling. It was very humbling to read that book. So there was a couple of times I was like, oh, hey, like I made the good call when I ran into this kind of situation. But there's been a lot of times that maybe I didn't make the best decision.
Yeah.
And which is kind of weird. And the season of my life has been personal growth, whether it's mental health, physical health, leadership, being a better teammate, whatever that can fall into has kind of been where my mind's been. So again, kind of going back to, I'm in the best place to fully understand and comprehend that book, even though there's a lot of things that I need to dive into a little bit deeper, but the premise behind it has been super impactful. And like I said, and like I told you earlier, when I went down to Greenville for those 5 weeks, I didn't know it at the time, but I don't think I would have been as good as a person, not even leader, not even coworker, just as an individual, had I not experienced all the things I experienced back to back to back. And then having a chance to kind of reflect and look at that book and kind of really dissect the reasons as to why we operate at that level and why it's important to make sure we're following the standards. We hold our head held high. We do the right things. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah.
It really couldn't.
That's such a great topic too. And I guess a lot of people, there's a few people that would understand exactly what it is that you're talking about. I was speaking with another business owner here today, and he's got a sizable company, and I think it's like 5 brothers. So it's been in the family for a long, long, long time. And he got it. And it's nice to have these types of conversations with people who are either starting to get it, and it's pretty awesome to watch people's eyes open up. But that's the importance of repeating it. So I used to be scared, seriously. And Vic and I have had this conversation over the years of hosting the podcast or speaking on stage or just talking to people in general. Like, man, I don't want to be that guy that, you follow around the country that is on stage and repeating himself. Like, I don't want to be that guy. And I don't know where that came from. But the importance of repeating things, because you don't know where somebody's going to be.
Correct.
To be receptive to hear the message. Okay. Same with me. I'm the same. Jana for 2 years has been trying to get me to read this book. And I would try, I'd start it. And it's like, I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. Like it just wasn't clicking. I wasn't comprehending it. I wasn't able to listen to it.
Right.
I wasn't able to hear the message until a series of events start to happen. I'm put in situations or positions, not necessarily bad or negative, but opportunities.
Sure.
Right. I'm presented with opportunities where I have something coming up, an opportunity coming up. And it's like, for whatever reason, I was on the treadmill and I'm just kind of scrolling through my phone and trying to find something like a podcast or something to listen to. Cause I like to try to multitask,
yes.
So if I'm working out, especially on a treadmill, because I can pay attention when I'm on treadmill, but I'm lifting weights. It's more like music and stuff to get pumped up. But when I'm walking, I love to walk, whether indoors or outdoors. I try to listen. I've listened to a lot of great books that way. And for whatever reason, you got your breathing, you got the blood flow going to your brain. You can, for me, I can absorb and comprehend things better. Long story short, I started listening to this book, and I swear she's been up my butt. Like, she's great. This author, she's magnificent. I just, and like, I got 3 of her books, and I'm like, I just don't know what you're getting, like hearing that I'm not hearing. Anyhow, I started recently started hearing it, like
Mhm.
listening, and I'm like, I cannot believe that I didn't hear this sooner, right? But I wasn't there yet.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? My mind knew I wasn't ready or
Yeah.
something, to hear that message. But it's, and ironically enough, a lot of her books, her name is Bernice Brown, Brene Brown, and she writes a lot of the titles of her book is like Daring Greatly.
Mhm.
And if you know anything about Theodore Roosevelt, and if you've ever been to my office, I have his State of the Union speech
Mhm.
on my wall.
Yes.
It's soon to be 3 times, up there twice right now, but I got another version of it, like a real old copy of it that's actually like printed on old newspaper or something I'm getting ready to put up. But if you read that, and I wish I knew it word for word, but he's talking about daring greatly.
Mhm.
Okay. And she talks about being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Which is like a whole nother level of where in this journey that I'm on, like, I'm not saying I've mastered what I've been learning
Sure.
to this point, but like, I'm kind of at a different, like, okay, now I'm ready to get a little deeper.
Right.
Let's,
It comes in stages.
yeah, like it comes in stages. So like, I'm at this, like, and she talks a lot about courage.
Mhm.
Okay. Like, there's a lot of catchphrases out there, resiliency and tenacity. And if you listen to Gary Vee, you hear all these new catchwords that everybody's starting to use, but it's like, what about just good old school, courage, and
Mhm.
she talks about it, and courage, and being vulnerable, and creating an environment where people feel like they could get vulnerable,
Sure.
and rumbling. She talks about rumbling
Mhm.
with vulnerability. Like,
Yeah.
let's rumble. You know what I mean? Let's stop scratching the surface, and let's really get in here.
Yeah.
And what is the root of the problem, or having those uncomfortable conversations that we're so used to walking by and ignoring, and
Yeah.
then it manifests into something bigger and deeper and scarier and worse and all these things. And it's like, creating an atmosphere of, where people kind of just get used to being, I don't want to say called out on their shit, but like,
Held accountable.
what's that?
Held accountable.
Yeah, held accountable. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing, and it's really, and this is a growing moment for you. And through pain comes growth. So if you're upset with the conversation that we're having right now, the chances are it's probably true, and you
Or
don't like
at the
it.
very least, is a good thing. Maybe you're receiving it well.
Yes.
Because there's been some times that I've been checked. I'm like, ow, that hurts. But you're right.
Mhm.
Oh my God, are you right? I'm sorry I didn't see it.
Yeah.
It hurts to hear, but thank you. No, absolutely.
Yeah. So I can totally relate to you. Or what's the importance of it? It's just a book, right?
Right.
Until you really get in it, and things start to click.
Right.
I love that when that happens, like, especially like when you're in that season that you're in right now,
Yes.
and all of these Pandora's box starts to open up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And all these paradoxes and sayings and sentences and quotes and meanings to things, start to form.
Yeah.
And you start to form your own opinion about it, and
Mhm.
can really start leaning into it, because now it has true meaning to you, and this is how you want to live, and this is what you want to live by, because it makes sense, because I've seen it.
Right.
I see it now.
Yeah.
I see it. I finally get it. And it's really cool when you can get on that journey, and it's about personal development and not being perfect.
Yeah.
Because I think when I first started on this personal development journey, I thought I had to be perfect.
Mhm.
I can't make any mistakes. I'm not allowed to be vulnerable. I have to have all the answers. And that is the complete opposite of what I've learned so far. And that's where vulnerability comes into play too. Like, I need you to know that I don't have all the answers, but I need you to also know that we're both going to work towards finding the resolution to this together.
Yes.
Right. And when I said this morning about, like, true humility, and but a true culture is when I'm learning just as much from my team as they have from me. That's what I mean by that. It's like, I learn just as much from everybody around me. Okay. But I also know that I need, so couple of things. Iron sharpens iron. Okay. And this is the thing. And Vic and I have talked about this before. If I'm hanging out with 5 people that aren't so smart, I'm going to be the 6th not so smart person.
Right.
If I'm hanging out with 5 wealthy people, I will be the 6th wealthiest person.
Sure.
Okay. So I have to continuously push myself to stay sharp so I can push you.
Yes.
Because if my cup is empty, I have to make sure that my cup is overflowing.
Right.
So I have enough to pour into you, whether it's time, energy, resources, and stay out in front of all of these things to push you, because quite frankly, I don't want to be around 5 broke people. I don't want to be around 5 other people that aren't pushing themselves to succeed, to impact people, to have a better life, not just for themselves, but for everybody else around them. And if you can surround yourself, and it just has to be a core group of people. And the thing that I've learned too over the years is I will never get the entire company to conform to one thing all at one time. I have to start with a small group. It starts with one individual that is articulating the same message. Okay. And then they find somebody, and then they articulate that message. And it's like this ripple effect that happens. And where I found that is like, when I discovered that was like when we were rolling out a new policy or a new product or a new technology. Okay. It's almost impossible to get everybody to conform to like a new technology. Like when we started our CRM a long time ago, I knew not to roll it out to the entire company, because you're going to have people that push back. They don't want to do it. They're used to doing it the old way. They don't like change. As human beings, we don't like change. Okay. So I knew if I would roll something out to a small group of people, okay, that I knew would buy in, early adopters. Okay. Simon Sinek talks about the bell curve. Okay. So if you can find the early adopters and get them to buy in, those that are on the other side of the bell curve that usually resist change and push back and always want to poke holes and stuff, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You need all types. It takes all types. It takes all of us. Okay. They're going to start recognizing the other group of people who were the early adopters being very successful, because it's never a good idea until you think it's a good idea. So if they're like, wow, they're really succeeding over here, I want to be a part of that. Because I've tried to roll things out like mass scale before, and it just doesn't work.
Rip the Band-Aid off and go.
No. Right. And that's where it goes back to like the culture thing, the KPIs, the SOPs, and all of these things. It's like, if you don't have the foresight to see things and keep trying to jam and push and force, people are just going to push back.
Correct.
And like I said before, it's never a good idea until we think it's a good idea. Even though you've been telling me all along that I should be reading Daring Greatly. Okay. And she's been trying to jam that shit down my throat for 2 years. Until I thought it was a good idea. It wasn't a good idea. And finally I read it, but I was more receptive. Now it's a good idea.
Right.
Now I'm ready for it. And I've seen her, Jana, apply these principles in her own life and the things that she does. So I want a part of that success. I want what she has.
Right.
So,
well, that's important too, is again, kind of going back to the state of mind and the reason why, right? Because you're not going to absorb it. You're not going to apply unless you think it's a good idea.
Right.
Right. So it might not be the right for me. Had I read that book a year ago, it wouldn't have, I'll be honest, zero impact. It wouldn't have. I knew who I was then versus who I am now. And I know 100% certainty that nothing would have came from that. It would have went on a shelf. I probably would have never read it again. You know what I mean? Kind of maybe the same situation. I know you're kind of weird with books. You'll read them over and over and over again. Yeah. So maybe not the same for you, but my learning style is definitely a little bit different. Right. And I'm still definitely new to this. I mean, I'm still wet behind the ears. Let's be honest. You know, as far as being in a leadership role or capacity, it's been 3 years, I think, and what started out as like, hey, I have something to offer that I think the rest of the team can utilize. Like I'm kind of here to maybe just train my system or my process a little bit. Had I known then what I know now, my position might have been a little bit different. I did not and still probably don't fully understand what it means to be in a role like this.
Yeah. No, and it's not comfortable.
It's not.
You know what I mean? And that's why we say you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's not easy. Nobody wants to pick a book up. Nobody wants to read a book. Nobody wants to retain the book. At least I didn't at first. Now I enjoy reading books.
Right.
Now I break a highlighter out. I get a pen. I have a notebook. I keep notes in my phone all the time. I have my own opinions. I have my own theories. I've created my own theses. You know what I mean? I've you know, the more that you dive into this personal journey and want to develop and become a better person and find out, like, you know, why we're here. You know, I was talking to the gentleman over here. It's like, I've had a lot of money in the bank and I've been at my most miserable. I've been so unhappy. I've been broke as a joke, but couldn't have never been any happier. So I do know it's not even about the money. It's not about the dollars that I have in my bank account. It's the amount of people that I've impacted.
Right.
It's the amount of lives that I've touched that gives me my true wealth, and where I seek my true success is in the amount of people that I've impacted. And as you're on this journey and as you're absorbing these things, you're going to start jamming out and be like, okay, I have a room full of people that are starving to become better salespeople. Okay. And when that paradigm shift happens, okay, all of the other things that you are so self-consumed with no longer become paramount. Whether it's, I need to make more money, my car's broken down, I'm behind on my rent, like all of those things just seem to start taking care of themselves. I don't know how, I don't know why, and I really don't want to start questioning that. But I do know when I started to pour myself into other people, even when I didn't have it, even when my cup was half empty, okay, I would still suit up, show up, just like I did this morning. I'm running on about 2 hours sleep. There's some shit going on all week, and this would have been the week for me to not want to show up and do this shit,
Right.
and talk about this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I suited up, showed up, and nobody knows any different. Nobody knows any different.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm still here to make an impression, to lead by example.
Right.
Okay. Like, I wouldn't expect you to show up if I wouldn't have showed up on 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Like, how would I expect you to do that? Like, I understand shit goes on in life, but we also have responsibility, you know, to be here, to show up, to make payroll, to do the things that sometimes seem almost impossible, but it always seems to work out. And what I was talking about earlier too, like, we only had culture for many years. There was no SOPs.
Right.
The standard was all hearsay.
Yeah.
You know, and it was very fluid. It was not static whatsoever.
Right.
It changed however the wind blew and however I felt that day.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start doing it this way now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it can still be like that. Don't get me wrong. And it will always remain. I will never want, you know, our culture to remain static.
Right.
Okay. Different people come into the fold. Different seasons of life happen. I get older, I mature. As I mature, the company matures. What worked 6 years ago won't work 6 years from now. Like, it will stay fluid, you know, but that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like, and I almost look forward to not every challenge. Okay. But like, I start to look forward to challenges to try to figure out, because like we talked about before, and I know you've heard us talk about this, it's like, I stopped looking at shit like, why is this happening to me? But more in terms of like, why is this happening for us? And I've even gotten myself excited, no matter how horrible the situation was that I've gone through. And you can ask Vic this. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this.
Yeah.
What good is going to come out of this, even though you can't see it? You know, there's no way something good's going to come out of this one, man. Like, there's no way.
Right.
Like, we might be going to jail over this one, you know, or whatever the case might be. But then all of a sudden it's like, man, that's like, I learned so much through so many mistakes, so many errors, and the worst things that I thought at that time turned out to be some of the greatest, mostly the greatest things that have ever happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember Chuck, when his fucking truck broke down, and the only thing you could say is, how blessed are we?
Yeah.
How fortunate are we? Even on the phone call with Jana, it was the same thing. I think she actually repeated what you said before she heard you say it. You know, you both have that mindset, and that's a real ride or die there, man. Just listening to some of your guys' stories is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Incredible. But it's funny, like, when you get both of you together, it's almost like one brain sometimes.
Yeah,
Really
no doubt.
is.
Well, she's been in. She used to drive me before I had a driver's license.
Yeah.
I lost my license for a long time, and she was my chauffeur for the longest time. But what her point was, there was many years ago, I wouldn't have had a truck that would have broke down.
Yeah.
You know, and how blessed were we to have a truck? Poor Ty's got a truck, broke down outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, or wherever the hell we were, right? Coming back from a roofing convention. You know, how dare me bitch and complain that Chuck broke down on the road. We had a truck for him to drive down with Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Florida. We were coming out of Orlando, I think.
No. We were in Greenville.
Okay, Greenville, South Carolina, wherever we
Yep.
were, right? Got a team down there. And it would have been one of those moments about 10, 15 years ago where I would have totally lost my shit or panicked. How would I get this truck out of the Carolinas? Okay. And I'll give you a little synopsis of the story. So Chuck left before us and his truck broke down. He calls us, "Where you guys at? We're about an hour behind you." So we get up to him. Actually, no, Brian and I turn around. We went to a U-Haul, picked up a trailer. I thought I'd be Slick Willie and drive about an hour south, picked up a trailer at U-Haul, bought this really nice, they had one of these trailer hitches in there that I've always wanted. You know, this big, bright, shiny, adjustable thing. I thought, yeah, freaking thing cost $400, cost more than renting the freaking trailer. And right before, I swear to you, before I walked into that U-Haul, I looked up at the sky and I was like, thank you, God. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to turn around in my brand new shiny truck and walk into U-Haul with a valid ID, put it down on the counter, and rent a freaking trailer. All proud. We're making it. I'm doing big boy shit, right? I'm adulting. We get up, back up, turn back around, get back up the road. We back the trailer in. Truck won't start. Can't get the truck. Finally get the truck going. Get it halfway up on the trailer and realize the trailer's too short. They gave me a trailer that was too small. Still not losing my shit. Still did not lose my shit yet. Next thing I know, this big ass, I don't know, we call it PennDOT truck down there. I don't know what they call it. Some kind of Del Dot, VDOT, South Carolina Department of Transportation truck comes rolling up and big lights, comes out, good old Southern boy with a Southern drawl. How you boys doing? And mind you, we're on, I don't even know, 95 on the side of 95 or 81. And I mean, traffic is just burning by us. And we're barely off the road. And we're like, well, we've had better days. And he comes up and he actually tries to help us. So he pulls his truck because he didn't believe that the trailer was too short. And I'm like, listen, it's too short. And it was a mess because I had to disconnect the trailer from my truck, try to jump the truck, park next to the truck to keep it running because the alternator died. I'm up on the side of the hill, get the truck, trailer pops up, almost goes out into the highway. I mean, it is a complete shit show. Okay. Complete shit show. So he thinks that he can do it. I was like, listen, we've already tried. Like this guy, Southern Hospitality, like he's really trying to help us out. So he gets his big ass truck up on the hill. We attach my truck to the trailer so it doesn't go back out into the middle of the highway again. And we get it up there and it is literally 4 feet too short. Yep. I shit you not.
Wasn't gonna work.
Okay. Still not ready to give up yet because I'm very determined and willing to make this work. So we discovered that we can't get the truck on the trailer. So I call Corey and Corey's not here today. I'm like, Corey, listen, I'm going to need you to drive to North Carolina tomorrow and pick up one of our trucks. No problem. Picks up the phone. He's super excited. I think he even left that night to go get it. We get everybody back in the truck. I got the trailer. I'm taking back to York because I am not driving south anymore. So I'm driving to York with this trailer on the back of my truck. I don't know how many exits or how many miles we get up the road. Chuck's like, I left my cell phone in my truck.
We were probably 45 minutes down the road.
He's like, don't worry about it. Hasn't spoke to his old lady in about 4 hours. She has no idea where he's at. I'm like, dude, we got to go back. We got to go back. So we were in one of those stretches of highway where there's like nothing, no exits, no gas stations, no nothing. And then we're just driving and we're driving and we're driving. And there was a moment where I was going to call Chuck a few choice words, but I didn't. But I did bust his balls a little bit. So we get up there, we turn around, we go back, get his cell phone out, and then we start heading back home. But the point is, I've so many times have made so many situations so worse than what they needed to be. I have blown things so far out of proportion. Okay. It doesn't matter. I've gotten in jackpot. I've gone to jail. Seriously. I've been arrested for things that people have done to me, but my behavior outweighed what they did to me. Like I've blown things out of proportion, made them so much worse. And it's like, until I've actually got to see my behavior in somebody else, like I've been able to like levitate above me and watch other people's behavior and say, ooh, that's me.
Can confirm.
I've done that.
Can confirm.
Do I look that horrible acting that way? You know, because I'm a knucklehead, it takes me a long time to drill things in here until I actually see it, you know, sometimes. But my point of all that is we got home, we had a good time, everybody was safe. Chuck's truck got home. I ended up with a $450 really cool ass trailer hitch that I didn't need, but it's still on the back of my truck. Right. It's the trailer hitch I've always wanted. I've seen it on like some infomercial or some shit at midnight on TV. But anyhow,
Blessed.
yeah, blessed. Beyond blessed. I mean, seriously, beyond blessed. I mean, and to have you guys and everybody show up today to listen to me talk. Most of you guys have got to experience a lot of that. But to see the team show up, and Mackenzie told me, I'm assuming all the girls in the office showed up today because
So, yeah.
she had to drop Skylar off at work and she got there and the office was locked up. So how blessed are we to be able to do that, where everybody could come down here and get some breakfast. And I would have never thought that 20 years ago, I would have never thought we would be where we're at today, let alone I would have never thought I would have made it this far.
Yeah.
You know, in life in general, and to talk about being a dad, you know, what being a dad's about today, and having that intentional time with my family, even if it's just for 5 minutes, and having the right woman in your life.
Yeah.
You know, because none of this would be possible if I didn't have the right woman in my life. And getting back to like surrounding yourself around, you know, winners. Okay. If Jana would have been bitching about me working all those hours and, you know, harping on me because I'm never home, and, you know, she knew what she signed up for.
Yeah.
I knew what we were in for, and her support, love, and keeping the household on lockdown and taking care of all of us, you know, and help motivating me and keeping me in a good mind, head space and spirit and all that good stuff. But just to be blessed to have that and the team and to have the impact and hopefully inspire somebody to want to do better, you know? So yeah. What else?
What else you got?
I don't know.
I love that shit, dude. I do. I think I saw Ben Catlin come in a little bit ago. Okay.
But that was the Chuck in a truck.
Chuck and truck.
Chuck did get a tattoo on his neck, I swear to God, of
Is he here?
Charlie Brown, Chuck in a truck on his neck. Where's Chuck?
He's chucking a trailer now. I guess
Chuck in a trailer.
Yeah, he's chucking a trailer.
Chuck in a truck.
Nope, I think he's in Harrisburg actually. He's leaving. He left.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've had some interesting times.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
you know,
But it happened for us.
yes. And I was thankful because that was, I mean, I've seen Chuck in passing. That was the first opportunity I actually got to like be around him. And for those of you that don't know Chuck, he looks rather intimidating. He looks like he could be an asshole.
Yeah.
He is the sweetest guy, and I have nothing but the most love and appreciation for them. In that short little week, like I knew everything I needed to know.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something to talk about too, is the talent, not only the talent that you receive, but the quality of people we have.
Yeah.
I mean, most people wouldn't believe it.
Right.
You know, it's just incredible human beings.
Yeah. Well, Chuck is another example. Like Vic had his own business and came to work for us because he wanted to be a part of something. So did Chuck. Chuck was in our same industry, had a siding business, decided to, we kind of acquired what business he had, and he came to work for us full time. Now he manages basically our mid-Atlantic region.
Yes.
On the siding exterior portion of things. Jim Roast, he's another one that had his own business. Glenn Orr and I used to exchange work, share labor, and work for the same people, and had just, and because we were cordial and respected each other's footprint, we were able to continue that relationship to where it is now. And as you know, Glenn is our, you know, general manager. He's my punching bag. Like when shit goes down, I call Glenn. And because of what we built here, and because of Glenn and the Chucks and the Jims, of having that business mindset, they know how shit should go.
Right.
And that's a hard quality to find in somebody and teach somebody. I mean, it is a skill. Fortunately, it is a skill.
Yes.
And to have something that they want to be a part of, something bigger, something greater, a bigger impact,
Right.
And to be the best at what we do. And we really believe that. And the beautiful thing about this is like, I was telling somebody earlier today, it's like, I still feel like we're just getting started. Like whether it's my personal development journey that I'm on right now, like I'm just scratching the surface. Like I'm still learning shit.
Yeah.
Every day I'm still learning something about myself, or my opinion changes on something, like, oh shit. Yeah.
Well, that's important. A lot of people are very self-unaware.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't think you're actually going to have that moment of true growth until you actually have a chance to reflect upon oneself.
Yeah.
Right. Until you understand yourself, or at least understand the way you think and how it could improve.
Right.
Waste your time.
Yeah.
So there's periods, again, much like seasons, there's going to be seasons in your life where you have to reflect about certain different personality traits, maybe the way you think about something, or you might be a little ignorant to one situation. Got to be open-minded.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah, for sure. You got to keep an open mind too. That's probably the hardest part, because I'll get stuck on something, and just think that's the only way that it's going to go down. But from trial and error and making a lot of mistakes, I usually try to keep an open mind for the most part, and I don't react to things, knee jerky as I used to.
That's a skill.
Yeah,
That's a skill. I know I still kind of am a little off. So I'm very reactive.
mm-hmm.
I'm a very reactive individual. Something I'm personally working on, but like that's to come out of that mindset. I mean, that's some tough questions in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to get a phone call and somebody would tell me something, and that would be like the only thing that I heard. And I'd make another phone call and start screaming at somebody, but not even listening to the other side of like what may have happened, and I've done that so many times and have owed apologies. It's like, dude, I am so sick and tired of telling people I'm sorry, and it's just easier to kind of like, okay, I got to be the remediator here, or the guy in the middle, and just kind of like listen and decipher and form my own opinion, because there's always, that side of the story, and somewhat the truth in the middle, and to try to not react so much, because this is the thing, dude, I used to get so stressed out. I mean, so stressed out for days, for weeks. One little thing would happen in my day, my entire day, sometimes my whole week would be ruined just because of one situation or one comment that was made, and then I would try to make sure that I ruined everybody else's day, not even knowing that I was actually doing that. Like, I had no idea that misery enjoys company, because I'm miserable, you're going to be miserable. I've done that to my family. I've done that to my kids. I've done that to my coworkers. Like, if I had a bad day, I'm going to go home and make sure everybody else has a fucking bad day too.
Right. Yeah.
Like, fuck that. And I understand too, when daddy gets home, he sets the tone, and it's no different, when I'm at work. When I was talking the other day, it's like, maybe there were some things that I started to lose enthusiasm over, our community events and the Inshore Classic, and, the things that we sponsor and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, I felt like I was handing the torch off, but like some things, and I'm reminded, the CEO, the chief energy officer, it is my job to rekindle that enthusiasm every now and then. I got to check back in and be like, yo, how are we making out with this? And how are we doing with that? And it's like, and sometimes I got to get back in the trenches. Sometimes I need to be the one that are throwing t-shirts at the boats as they're coming into shore. You know what I mean? And I got to experience that this weekend, and it felt good, not necessarily participating, but actually being like a spectator and able to network and, speak and have conversations with people about whatever. Like, they didn't even know who I was. It was great. I'm just some dude, random guy here handing out TC Backer t-shirts, and it was nice to just kind of connect with like the Ocean City fishing community at that level. And now I started thinking, I came back and I told Amanda, I'm like, look, we need an SOP for this. I know this sounds completely, totally ridiculous, but like, we need the red tent. We need the black tablecloth. We need business cards. We need all of these things, because that's just what it should be expected at these things. And I forgot my business cards. You know what I mean? So for me, my experience down there was like, Fortunately, I got my digital business cards, but you know, with more intentionality, like we're not just there to sponsor the thing. Let's actually try to get an ROI out of this.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's touch points. Yes. Brand awareness. Yes. That's great. But if we can kind of go down into these things that we do that we don't take advantage of,
Right.
like this here, like this is Lori set up a networking event for us. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard your network is your net worth. Okay. It's because of the people that we do work for today that is what made us who we are today. And it's half of these people that are in this building we do business with today. So our net worth wouldn't be half of what it is if it wasn't for half these people in there. And why is that? It's because at some point in time, I've networked with half these people in this room.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she's teed up an opportunity for us. Are we going to just sit here and run our mouth on a podcast, or I'm going to go out here and rub elbows with every single vendor that's out here and make new contacts? And if I just choose to sit there, then that's on me and I'll get nothing out of it. And I'll say this sucks. But if I can put myself into, because it's very uncomfortable. I don't like people. I don't like to talk to people. I'm very introverted, believe it or not. But if I can step outside my comfort zone and go over here and introduce myself to the lumberyard, they might have a product that my lumberyard that I use don't currently have. They might have better pricing. They might, who knows what the possibility is. Until I step outside my comfort zone and walk around the building here and introduce myself to people, because this is the deal. Somebody else said this, and I'm going to get off topic here a little bit. Like, it's one thing to have a company brand, okay, but the more powerful brand is a personal brand. What is your lasting impression that individual is going to think about you when you walk away from them? Are they going to want to do business with you? Because people do business with people. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. They don't necessarily do business with that. They do business with this. They do business with him. They do business with him. It's a personal brand is more important than the company brand. And that's the thing I learned a long time ago. Like, I can't hide behind the company brand. I am the brand. All eyes are on me at all times. And it's a lot of weight. It's a lot of responsibility. And I got to make sure the red and blues aren't showing up behind my car like they used to. You know, and I bring that up a lot because I got to keep that shit on the forefront of my mind. It's been 20 years, but I can't forget where I came from either. You know, I've been given a second chance here. What am I going to do with this opportunity? Right? I've been blessed with a gift. I was mechanically inclined with my hands to build roofs, build houses, put windows in. Right? And I need to pass that on to the next generation. And whether it's my sales techniques or how I install shingles. Right? Because when I'm taught, I need to teach. Because it's not doing anybody good if I die with it all stuck in my head. And that's why we got to document that shit so we can pass the torch on to somebody else. That's all I got. I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
That's it.
Are
He's
you
done.
done?
I'm good.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah. That's good.